I hate it here. What's going on, guys? What's going on, 27 Squad? Welcome back into another video. Do not mind the sweater. Don't mind the heavy-duty sweater indoors. I know I live in Florida, but it is currently like almost freezing outside, and I didn't expect it. So my house is currently cooling down, and I did not have the heat on. It is brisky outside. So do not mind that. However, I wanted to come on here and just vent. Let's just vent as Giants fans, okay? Because if you guys didn't watch those divisional games, I don't know how you can be excited as a Giants fan right now. Listen, as always, before we start, videos being sponsored by BetUS. Check out BetUS. If you guys bet on the Eagles and Commanders going to the NFC Championship game, then you guys probably won a lot of money. Because the Commanders were a heavy underdog and the Eagles, I believe, were favored, but still. So make sure you guys check them out for a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit. Second and third are 125%. I can't even talk. Just make sure you use the promo code YouTube150. All right, so listen, I'm sure you guys watched the games. It started off with the Washington versus Detroit game, going to Detroit, number 1 seed, the 6th seed versus the number 1 seed, and man, they just looked outclassed. The Lions did. They just looked unprepared, and they were a team that came in this whole season, was hurt, but it was the next man up mentality. It's like 22 players on their defense on IR or something like that, to that effect. It's an insane amount of players on their IR, and they still found a way to get things done. They still put up 31 points, but their defense just couldn't stop Jaden Daniels. And man, Jaden Daniels, we'll get into him later. But the Commanders we're the little brothers of the division now. We are the little brother. After whooping the Commanders' ass for literally as long as I've been alive. I've been on this earth 27 years. I've never seen the Washington Commanders just whoop our ass the way they did this year, even though, the first game was iffy. This is the best the Commanders have looked in my entire existence. I'm pushing 30, and this is the best they've ever looked, and it comes to no surprise. I get they got the new head coach, they got new ownership, they got a lot of new players, new coaching staff, but Jaden motherfucking Daniels. And then you go to the Eagles-Rams game. That was a really, really good game. I mean, this divisional round was spectacular. A masterpiece. But I had to watch Saquon Barkley run for 230 total yards last game, while Jalen Hurts throws for a nice, cool, calm, and collected 128 yards, just sitting back and watching as Saquon Barkley just completely carries their entire offense. Jalen Hurts has thrown for 128 yards last game, and then against the Packers in the wildcard round, threw for like 131 yards. Dude has done absolutely nothing. This might be the easiest ride to the Super Bowl a quarterback has ever had due to Saquon Barkley, and we've been keeping him caged up with the New York Giants for 6 years just for him to spread his wings, quite literally, and take over the NFL. I am in shambles.
What the fuck, y'all? God damn! Fuck!
I mean, Saquon Barkley is on an absolute tear. Not only was he close to breaking the single-season rushing record this season, he had over 2,000 yards in the regular season. He ran for 119 yards last week against the Packers, and then he almost doubles it up with 205 yards on the ground against the Rams. And I'm supposed to sit here and say, well, just get over it. Just move on, KB. Just move on. Now, listen, I was on board with I don't want to say getting rid of Saquon Barkley, but letting Saquon walk and just breaking up, because it was just a toxic relationship. Nothing was being productive with the relationship with Saquon Barkley, so you just had to move on. But I blame Joe Schoen and the Giants organization for still having this franchise in shambles to the point that we cannot sustain a top-tier running back on this roster, because when you pay a top-tier running back, you need to pay a top-tier offensive line, and the Giants just don't have that. I know Tyrone Tracy had 800 300 and some yards as a rookie, and maybe Saquon Barkley could have had a lot more than Tyrone Tracy would have. But at the same time, if you look at the impact that Saquon Barkley had with the Eagles, you cannot replicate it with the New York Giants. He was just completely shackled and anchored by the ineptitude of this offense. And it just makes me sick to my stomach. I put out a tweet earlier this morning where I said, you know, you have the Commanders and the Eagles going to the NFC Championship game. Who would have known? That means the Super Bowl, somebody on the NFC side is going to represent the NFC East. The NFC East is going to be represented in the Super Bowl. And it's no coincidence that Jaden Daniels and Saquon Barkley are both the best players on their respective teams. Like, if you ask me who's the best player on the Commanders right now, it's Jaden Daniels. Who's the best player on the Eagles right now? It's Saquon Barkley. And it amazes me. It amazes me that this all happened. The Commanders and the Eagles are in the NFC Championship game because the Giants decided to pay Daniel Jones. Yes, I'm going there. I am absolutely going there, because I'll tell you right now, if Washington did not have Jaden Daniels and the Eagles did not have Saquon Barkley, I do not think we will be talking about these two teams, at least both of them. Maybe one of them, maybe the Eagles will still be in the championship game, but both of these teams in the NFC Championship game, I don't think would have happened if the Giants paid Daniel Jones. Why is that? And it's a combination of things, right? If the Giants lost those games back in 2023, instead of the culture wins that we like to talk about, the culture, we have to win these games for the culture. Because those culture wins in 2023, those 3 straight wins in Tommy DeVito, are really coming in clutch now, aren't they? If the Giants just did not pay Daniel Jones and let him walk, he probably would have sought out a better contract elsewhere instead of taking a 1-year deal with the Giants, because the Giants probably wouldn't have franchise tagged him, and they would have let him walk, and the Giants would have been absolute trash. They would have had Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito for the whole entire season, but the Giants were committed to Daniel Jones, and I know he really didn't play a part in a lot of the wins that happened with the New York Giants in 2023, but they were committed to him. If the Giants just completely said, hey, listen, we don't have a franchise quarterback right now, we might as well just lose out these games like they did this year. They tanked this year. I don't care what you guys tell me. If they would have lost a lot of those games in 2023, we would have been in position to get Jaden Daniels. He would have been on our team. Daniel Jones would have been elsewhere. And I'm not saying we would have went to the NFC Championship game, but we would have had the best player on the Washington Commanders roster right now on our team. And with the money that we saved and not signing Daniel Jones to that insane contract, we would have had enough money to sustain Saquon Barkley and even throw out more offensive linemen out there that are of higher value than a John Runyon. And I love him, but Jermaine Illuminor as well. We could have signed more guys. We could have put more attention to the offensive line, and we would have had both Jaden Daniels and Saquon Barkley on this roster if it wasn't for paying Daniel Jones. And it just makes me sick, because we saw this in Hard Knocks. We saw this in Hard Knocks where Joe Shane literally said to everybody in the war room, like, hey, would you guys trade up for Jaden Daniels? Brian Dable was like, absolutely.
Daniels, have you guys seen enough that you would trade up for him?
Daniels?
Yeah, I would.
Even Joe Shane's son said it himself, that he wouldn't want to trade up for Jaden Daniels.
All right, who do you want me to take? Give me a name.
Jaden Daniels. Trade up and get him. Why not?
Okay, if Jaden Daniels...
We only get this job once. Let's try to win.
And I'll give credit to where it's due. Joe Shane tried to move up for a franchise quarterback. It wasn't going to be Jaden Daniels, because he would have been chosen with the 2nd overall pick. The Giants were trying to get to 3rd, but they would have had Drake May at least. But it just makes me sick seeing both the Commanders and the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. It just makes me sick to see that you know, a lot of Giants fans were comparing the Commanders year to the Giants 2022 year. But in that 2022 year, yeah, the Giants started 6-1, but they finished 9-7-1. Like, they completely just fumbled towards the end of the season. You didn't see that slowdown that the Giants had in 2022 with this Commanders team. They finished 12-5. You know, they were the 6th seed, yes, but now they won 2 playoff games. They've won more playoff games than the Giants have in the span of almost like 12 years. So I'm a grieving Giants fan. I'm waiting for better days to come. I'm hoping better days do come, but it just seems like we will never get out of this abyss. We'll never get out of this I don't know, this pit that we're in. So that is my rant. I just have to watch now Saquon Barkley, who I thought was going to retire a Giant. He was just the New York Giant. Now have to be one of the best Eagles of all time. When he retires, he is going to be known more so as an Eagle. And that makes me sick. And Jaden Daniels, being a guy that I was infatuated with last year, be drafted to a division rival that was known for being absolute ass and terrible, and we used to beat up on them all the time. Seeing him start for this team, go 12-5, sweep the New York Giants, and then go to the NFC Championship game and potentially a Super Bowl, it's gut-wrenching. It's gut-wrenching. I don't know what to think of this. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you guys feeling what I'm feeling, or are you guys just sitting here saying, "Oh, it's just time to move on. Time to move on, KB. You know, there's no sense of talking about this." How could you not? How could you not? That is the video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new. And yeah, thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video. And see you guys next time. Woo!